Now, today the world will say goodbye to the greatest. Muhammad Ali is being laid to rest in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. In a moment we'll hear from someone who knew him, but first, here he is in his own words.
This is Sam Cooke. As you can see, like me, he's awful pretty.
I shook up the world! I shook up the world! I shook up the world!
Well, I was dancing.
A lot of people may think this is an act or show, but it's not.
Oh, look at, take a look.
He learned to talk before he was 1 year old, and he's always been a great talker.
Oh, yeah.
I want the world to know I'm so great until Sonny Liston was not even a match. I'm the greatest thing that ever lived.
Trainer looked at him at the beginning of the 7th round, and he said, "Get up, Sonny, get up, fight, fight, get up, Sonny." Sonny said, "I'm no fool, I'm staying on the stool."
He will be in a bad fix because I will knock him out in round 6.
Working on a record called The Gang's All Here.
Would you like to give us a preview of this disc?
Is New York with me? Yeah. Is Chicago with me? Yeah. Is London with me? Yeah.
Or if he starts talking jive, I'll get him in 5.
Well, number one, he's too ugly to be the world heavyweight champion. Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier is so ugly, his face should be donated to the Bureau of Wildlife.
If he makes me sore, he'll fall in 4.
He can't write no poems, he can't predict no rounds, and let me tell you, I'm not conceited, I'm just convinced.
If he keep talking about me, I'll get him in 3.
Why the mummy?
Because he fights. When he's fighting, if you ever watch him in the ring, he drags like that after his opponent.
If that don't do, I'll get him in 2.
And how's a mummy gonna catch me? If you think I whoop Sonny Liston, you wait till I get George Foreman. He talks too much, he's ugly, I'm the true champion, and they make me the underdog. I'm gonna show them all they're wrong because I'm the champion. I'm the real champion. There'll never be one like me.
If he run, I'll get him in 1.
This is my last fight. I don't want none of you to miss it. So please come to the theaters. I'm going to eat some raw meat, and I'm going to train. I'm going to get ready and chop some more trees.
If he don't want to fight, he should stay home that night.
Only you know just how much I've lost. Whoa, yeah. You know.
I like to say that you're not as dumb as you look, Harry.
The night they kept on playing.
You saw the Williams fight, you saw me reveal the Ali Shuffle. That's my new dance to the world.
See, that's the side view. This is Ali Shuffle from the front view.
Turn up, see one. How you like that?
I like that very much.
The girls tell me I'm too, excuse me, Sam. The girls tell me I'm too pretty to be a fighter. I'm going to have to go into the recording business.
Well, it says it there, the greatest. Let's talk to Kellie Maloney, boxing manager and promoter who met Muhammad Ali a number of times and is with me in the studio. I mean, the greatest sportsman of all time.
I believe so. He was an icon, not only in sport, but in civil rights movement as well.
And he transcended boxing, didn't he, because of that sheer force of personality?
Well, I think he transcended boxing the day he took on the American government. Up until then, he was like known as a loudmouth, brash sort of fighter who insulted his opponents. But he done it in a nice way, not like the way they do it today. He sort of done it with...
He brought intelligence, didn't he? I mean, and wit.
And wit.
Great humour.
Yeah, and people who try to take him off today can't do it. They're all imposters. But that challenge of the American government when he stood up for his rights about the Vietnam War, I think made him, and that's the start of his legacy and legend. And the things he's done that people don't even know about are fantastic.
You actually, at the age of 14, went along to see him, didn't you? Tell us about that.
I dodged off school, and he was training at Thomas à Becket in the Old Kent Road, and because...
What stage was he in his career then?
He was just getting ready to fight Henry Cooper, so he was still Cassius Clay, but everyone knew about this Yank who could talk the hind legs of a donkey, and I crept along to Thomas à Becket and it was packed, and I knew Danny Holland, who used to work with Henry Cooper's cut man, and he let me in to watch him train, as I always used to be up there. And it was amazing just watching this man work. You know, he was fair, and he was working hard, and he was talking as much as he was training. And it was, you know, everyone was in awe of him. It was unbelievable. And then I was lucky to meet him later in life. Unfortunately, when he was ill, I met him with Lennox Lewis when Lennox was world champion. We went to a function, and to see Lennox and him meet, it was unbelievable. The respect he paid to Lennox.
Is going to be a
pallbearer.
today, isn't
I
he?
think that will mean as much to Lennox as winning that gold medal and winning the world title, because Lennox had so much love and respect for Muhammad Ali. It was Lennox's idol and hero that drove Lennox to achieve what he did.
So tell us about that relationship that they had.
I think they had a very special relationship. I mean, I actually listening to Lennox on BBC Radio this morning talking, and he was talking about how he still continued the friendship, and he went to see Muhammad Ali with his wife, and Ali would sort of joke about stealing Lennox's wife, and you know, and Lennox said, "Well, I'll have to take you on, champ," and they would laugh and joke, and I think it was fantastic the way he talked to everybody. You know, he never there's stories that people don't even know about him. I mean, there's one. In America, he was training for a certain fight. I think it was Ernie Shea or Ernie Terrell, one of in New York, and he heard about a home in America that was an old Jewish home that was going to be closed down, and all the poor people were going to be put out on the street, because in America, if you haven't got money, you've got no chance. And he, after training, got into his car. He went down with an American journalist that was always following him, but he told the American journalist that he cannot write this story or print it. And he wrote out a 6-figure check and handed it over so that home stayed alive and survived. And then people were not put out.
Let's bring in Tony Bellew, just crowned WBC Cruiserweight champion. Thank you for joining us, Tony. What was Muhammad Ali to you?
Muhammad Ali, in my opinion, is, you know, the greatest sportsman that has ever graced the planet. He's an amazing humanitarian, just somebody who means an awful lot to absolutely everybody. I don't think there's a place in the world that Muhammad Ali hasn't touched or inspired, in my opinion, you know, from his stand-up in rights against the government and then on to, you know, his actual sporting achievements. You have to understand that this is a man who, at the height of his fame and at the prime of his career, walked away from everything because he believed in his own rights and believed in, you know, staying away from that Vietnam War. So you will never see something like that again. You know, it would be like asking Floyd Mayweather just before, you know, he fought Manny Pacquiao to walk away from the sport and walk away from his fortunes because he believed in something. It's just uncharted. It's never been seen, done before, and it will never be done again. It's just he's an amazing man.
And for you, growing up,
missed.
Was he part of the inspiration for you that made you want to be a boxer?
He's the inspiration for every single fighter out there, whether it be boxing, mixed martial arts, karate, judo. Everybody looks up to Muhammad Ali. Everybody idolises him for what he done, for what he stood for. Like I say, if it wasn't for Muhammad Ali, boxing would be on some underground sport. Muhammad Ali made boxing fashionable. He made it special. And, you know, he put us amongst the stars or the other celebrities, all because he was outspoken. And like I say, he's just an amazing individual. For me, the greatest sportsman that's ever lived and one of the greatest humanitarians that ever graced the earth, I put him alongside a Mother Teresa, a Martin Luther King, and then I would say Muhammad Ali.
And Kelly, he really showed anyone that wasn't even perhaps interested in boxing that it's not always about who can throw the hardest punches, but it's a mind game as well. It's about the psychology.
I mean, it's what Tony said. He was, you know, he's an absolute icon outside of boxing, inside of boxing. If you ask who's the greatest sportsman in the world was, they'll say Muhammad Ali. But he took boxing off the back pages. You know, he had superstars wanting just to be sitting at ringside to watch him fight. He changed the whole face of boxing, and I think he changed the way people started thinking about boxers, because he was a great person, a great civil rights campaigner. He done so much for everyone in the world, no matter what colour, creed, or nationality there was.
And the whole sort of game around the match that Muhammad Ali enjoyed, Tony. That, I mean, that, you know, it's all part of the fight, wasn't it? The pre-match stuff.
It was, and he made that fashionable, because before Muhammad Ali, nobody had ever heard of, you know, being loud at press conferences or winding people up at weigh-ins or public media workouts like he done to Sonny Liston and many other fighters. You know, it was unseen. And now when you see many fighters doing these things, everybody says, oh well, he's trying to be like Muhammad Ali, he's trying to be like Muhammad Ali. Like I say, there can only ever be one Muhammad Ali. He is the greatest sportsman ever. And like I say, once again, I can't say it enough, he is probably one of the greatest individuals to ever grace the sporting field, because he stood for so many different things. He took sport from the back pages to the front pages. He just made so much sense in what he said, the things he done. You know what, I actually feel like Muhammad Ali invented sarcasm, because when you look back at some of the things he said and done, he was hilarious. He was a man way before his time.
Thank you very much, Tony Bellew and Kellie Maloney, with your thoughts on Muhammad Ali ahead of his funeral tonight. Thank you.